We're talking about two mobility drills that I often program together, so I thought I'd do a quick video to show them together. All right, two great drills and hit three of the most important parts to mobilize or stretch in your body. One is the ankle, one is the hip, and one is the thoracic spine. We'll talk about each. Number one, I'm in a half kneeling position. You might have to put a pillow under your knee. It'll hold this position for a while. But what I'm going to work on is, so if I'm straight on, I want to find a good angle to where my thigh is the same line vector as my foot. All right. So figure that out first, right? So if I'm in line here, my thigh's in line with my foot. All right. So I'm going to go a little diagonal for the demonstration, but so I'm going to be in this position to start. And I'm just going to go back and forth. And what I'm focusing on is my ankle, that when I go forward, my knee is kind of going over my foot. And what I'm paying attention to is I want to stay tall. All right. I want to keep my hips somewhat tucked, but I'm focusing on my knee going straight over probably my second toe. Now you can explore each corner, we say, or each kind of angle, and we can bring your knee over your pinky toe, and then over your middle toes, and then over your big toe. And so it's a nice just kind of mindful check, but it's a nice also just to slowly go in and out of each one. If you plan to squat or play ball or run today, just to check in with your ankles and see how they're feeling, you can work into each groove. All right. If you want to do kind of a contract, relax, stretching drill, what you would do is start to go forward and then press your feet down into the floor, press your toes and ball of your feet down. And then as you're doing that, press down, down, down into that stretch, and then relax and now pull your toes up towards your knee, and you can actually pull your foot towards your shin, and then slowly come out of that. All right, so on the side again, I'd go here, go forward, press down into the floor, press down into the floor, so I'm using my calf muscles and back, and then I pull up and pull down, and so ideally I'm contracting my front muscle, which is relaxing some of these back muscles that might be holding onto my ankle. All right, that's a good ankle mobility drill. You can just do some circles, just kind of feel out what corner you're not hitting. And don't only go forward over your toes, but come back as well. So you're trying to, if your knee is directly over your heel, do a circle around that heel and just see how does that feel. And then if you can kind of control that from your hip, that's ideal. So your hip is sort of engaging the movement, and just totally relax that foot and go around. So sometimes you crank into these stretches too hard and that's not working for you, and you just feel like you're making it worse, or you're impinging in front. Maybe that talus bone isn't moving very well. Don't force it. Try to relax your foot and just do some light circles in front over your toes, over the one ankle, back behind your ankle, then to the side, and just go like that. All right. Now that's different. It looks the same, but it is different from a hip flexor stretch, which I'm trying to hit this muscle here. All right. So if you've been sitting a lot throughout the day, these muscles get tight. Remember, the muscles that attach to the front of your thigh bone, all right, kind of your thigh groin, they run up through your pelvis, connect to your lower back vertebrae. So when you sit all day long, those muscles get short. Remember, your body gets good at what you ask it to do most of the time, right? So if you ask it to sit in this position all day long with both legs forward, your body's going to sense that, shorten these muscles. Now it's easier to sit like that, all right? And your butt muscles will say, okay, if you're going to sit for 9 hours a day, I'm going to stretch these muscles out, make them kind of weak. Now I'm good at sitting. You don't want to get good at sitting. All right. So how do we fix that? How do we unglue from that? Well, one way is to mobilize and stretch out the muscles in front. So I'll pick this leg. So I'm going to go here. And now this one is not just cranking forward like I did on my ankle. I want to be very mindful of what my hips are doing and how my abs are engaged. So I want to be in this position here. Tuck your tail a little bit, contract the glute of the knee that's on the floor, and then ease into that stretch there. You should not have to go very far. If you're cranking like here, right, this is what we see in exercise science class, exercise fitness classes. I go and see a lot of the athletes at school, and they're all working out, and they're just kind of talking about their day and cranking all these positions, and they're probably cranking more on their femoral ligaments and their groin and all these other things that should not be stretched, their hip capsule, right? All these structures that should not be stretched, versus being tall, slightly tucking your tail, contracting this glute, and then as you stay tall, eyes on the horizon, ease forward into that stretch. You don't have to go very far, and just see, can you ease into that and feel that stretch there? If you want to add a high reach, you can, and which is going to also stretch down your rib cage and get that whole kind of global system from your shoulders, if not your elbow, all the way down through your knee. All right. Again, you can do just some hips circles here too. If you're okay on your knee, my hip is directly over my knee. I can go out to the outside and I can just do some light circles around it and just kind of explore that a little bit. Okay, because it all comes from your hips. Your hips should be leading all of these motions. All right. So that's your ankle mobility drill, your hip flexor, your hip mobility drill, and both in half kneeling position. Then there's the thoracic spine. So ankles, hips, and thoracic spine. Remember your thoracic spine, your cervical vertebrae is your neck. Your T-spine, we call it, or your thoracic spine is your chest, and then you have your lumbar vertebrae. So pull out your foam roller, 36-inch, high density full roller, $20 on Amazon. I like to do two things. Well, three things, but two positions. Number one, this is a perpendicular position. I'm going to support my head and just roll a little bit. All right. I'm going to roll straight up the middle of my spine, and then I'm going to roll a little bit on each shoulder blade and just kind of explore that a little bit. I might get a snap, crackle, or pop. I might just massage some of those muscles in there. All right. Again, if you've been sitting a lot and you're in this position, it's your thoracic spine that has the most mobility, right? Which is great. We need that mobility for rotating and standing up tall, but it's also the most susceptible to falling into this kyphotic posture, this poor posture here, right? And there's no, posture is kind of like food in a way. There's no terrible food, right? It's just how much you're going to eat of it. Enjoy your chicken wings and pizza, but you can eat too much. There's not necessarily a terrible posture, right? There's no perfect posture. It's just that you're not hanging out in a posture for too long, that you're mindful of how you're hanging in your posture, that you are staying tall, eyes on the horizon most times, okay? Get good. Your body gets good at what you ask it to do most of the time. Get good at standing tall. All right, after I've actually rolled the roller a little bit, now I'm going to find a segment of, and I'm going to look like I'm kind of doing a crunch, but this crunch, I'm actually mobilizing my spine and just trying to get some movement in the thoracic vertebrae of my spine, the muscles of my spine, and I'm just going to go back, kind of drape over it. Again, just doing the opposite of that fetal position I've been sitting in a lot today. I go down a little bit, and then a couple extensions there. All right. So I roll and then do a couple of these extensions where I drape over the roller. Then I turn the roller long ways. I sit, my sacrum's at one end. Let me find the roller. And then I lay back. All right. So this way I'm going to lay back, hands out to the side. This might be enough. You could probably even do this on the floor. Don't push it if you can't. But go down if you can go on the roller here. And then what I like to do is not only lie here and just try different positions. All right. The higher you reach, you go all the way back. You just kind of feel that out. Don't go into any painful ranges of motion. Your body doesn't like that. Your body remembers that painful range of motion. The next time you go there, you'll feel pain too. All right. So not only the snow angel stretch, but I also like to reach up and I kind of shrug my shoulders closer to my ears and back down away from my ears. I can reach up to the ceiling and wrap my shoulder blades around the roller. I can do kind of pistons, right? And I can just kind of mobilize the muscles and areas around my shoulder blades, all right? When those muscles get tight and knotted up, my shoulder blades don't move very well, and then that's usually gonna wreak havoc on my shoulder joint, right? So if you wanna get a dumbbell press workout in, or a push-up press workout in, or even rows, TRX rows, whatever you're doing for your upper body, that's a nice one to superset. Do some light push-ups, do some light presses, and mix in some of that, the thoracic spine work, and then that massage between your shoulder blades. It'll get your shoulder blades moving much better to where you can go a little heavier with your presses, all right? So there you go. Little hip, little ankle, little thoracic spine. Try those out. See you next time.